Ex-tropical cyclone Jasper soaks far north Queensland. Heatwave conditions and severe thunderstorms across Australia imminent. Your latest forecast. Force 13 Australia here, back at it with another forecast on tropical cyclone Jasper, or at least its remnants, which are expected to reform. We're also going to be taking a look at severe thunderstorms and extreme heat across Australia. Everywhere is going to be affected. It's a big update, a lot to get through, so make sure you stick around to the end because I'll be giving a preliminary Christmas forecast as well through windy.com. Your latest update brought to you by Force 13 Australia and Oceania. Make sure you are subscribed and leave a like on the video while you're at it as well, and tell me how we can improve in the comment section down below. So here is a look at ex-tropical cyclone Jasper. The latest forecast picture for Australia. You can see winds 50 kilometers an hour, pressure of 997 millibars, expected to move into the Gulf of Carpentaria where it will become a cyclone again, most likely, supported by most forecast models at this time. Storms for southeast Queensland and central Queensland, and heatwave conditions expected to develop and extend throughout WA, South Australia and the Northern Territory as well. Let's zoom in now on tropical cyclone Jasper, or at least its remnants, its current position over the western or the southwestern extremities of the Cape York Peninsula, about to re-emerge over into the Gulf of Carpentaria. It's later than we expected, but it is expected to develop into a tropical cyclone once again, or at least its remnant energy will. The GFS has been daring to suggest a monster tropical cyclone out of this system, up towards Category 5 status on the Australian scale once again, so it could have another run at a very high intensity. It's also likely to move into the Coral Sea afterwards and then become a significant cyclone again. Once again, the GFS was expecting the cyclone to slam into the Queensland coastline as a very powerful tropical cyclone, but that's no longer in the picture, thank goodness. So we're going to take a quick look at rainfall over the next 10 days. You can see moving into Monday and Tuesday, significant rainfall still falling across the Cape York Peninsula. Before Tuesday and Wednesday, you get those pretty severe thunderstorms developing over New South Wales and Queensland, and those extend into the Northern Territory as well. And as we get into Friday and next weekend, we'll likely be seeing those thunderstorms remain over southern Queensland, northern New South Wales, and as we approach Christmas, it only looks like the rainfall is going to get heavier, with a tropical cyclone developing north of the Northern Territory around the Timor Sea. Access G3 temperature wind runs, the Bureau of Meteorology's own forecast. You can see those heatwave conditions expected to move and extend throughout Western Australia, the Northern Territory, South Australia, and even into extreme southwestern Queensland. Temperatures as high as 50 degrees are expected for towns including Marble Bar, Fitzroy Crossing and Halls Creek in Western Australia, and temperatures above 40 degrees expected over the next 10 days across a very widespread portion of Australia. And these extreme temperatures only get worse towards Christmas, with daytime maxima extending over the Western Australian coastline up above 48 degrees for multiple locations, including Port Hedland and Karratha. Now let's jump over to the forecast models and see what is going across Australia for the next 10 days. We're going to kick things off, of course, by looking at the remnants of tropical cyclone Jasper, currently located about here on the Cape York Peninsula, due north of Croydon and about northeast of Karumba, south of Weipa and Lockhart River, and those communities up in the more extreme far norths of Queensland. You can see there's a lot of rainfall, a lot of moisture wrapping itself around the system, intense thunderstorm activity across the Gulf of Carpentaria at this time, and that's only going to get worse throughout today and into tomorrow as we get into the cyclone moving over the Gulf of Carpentaria again. The extreme rainfall is only expected to pick up, and you can see if we take a look at the forecast run right now, we're going to be looking at the ECMWF forecast first of all, considering it has been the most reliable with the cyclone so far. You can see these intense thunderstorms north of Georgetown and Croydon, which, mind you, are saturated communities. We've had some pretty intense rainfall down there over the past couple of weeks. I'll tell you what is saturated: any community between Townsville up towards Lockhart River. Immense rainfall totals have been reported over the past week or so. In fact, Cooktown has picked up over a metre of rainfall, Port Douglas another metre of rainfall. We've had some major flooding in those areas, and it's just starting to ease off now as the rainfall's easing off, but rainfall will stick around for at least the next couple of days into maybe Tuesday next week, and then hopefully then it will start to ease off. It is the wet season, but still these extreme rainfall totals are pushing rivers beyond the major flood level. Now into Monday's this cyclone, the centre of circulation emerging into the Gulf of Carpentaria towards the east of Mornington Island. We're going to see this rainfall pick up again over the Gulf of Carpentaria, and that will extend further north right up to what looks to be about Thursday Island, only then the rainfall and the moisture inflow on the Pacific side of Queensland will start to ease, which is a bit of good news, and it looks like the rain finally stops for the Port Douglas area around Tuesday morning, but it only picks up for the Gulf of Carpentaria. Take a look at how much rainfall is expected Tuesday and into Wednesday associated with these thunderstorms that then blow over Kakadu. And then it looks like the cyclone temporarily weakens itself off. The moisture is mainly just thunderstorm associated, but you can see the monsoon really pumping up some crazy widespread thunderstorms that are extending from Darwin over to Thursday Island and up into PNG. It is widespread stuff that we're seeing here. Also, take note, the centre of circulation starts to reform itself off the northeastern extremities of the Northern Territory, really slipping up on my words, it seems, and you can see the defined centre of circulation really gets itself together around Wednesday and into Thursday, and I believe this is when we can expect winds to start picking up as well. Not gale force yet, but you can still see sustained winds north of the centre of circulation above that 20-knot mark, so it's certainly becoming a more organised tropical low at this time, and it takes it until about Saturday to really get itself together, and this is when we're expecting these gusty winds and thunderstorms to develop around the Thursday Island, Weipa sort of area in the extreme northern portions of the Cape York Peninsula. And it looks like late on Sunday we get the cyclone again, and this is probably going to pick up the next name on the Australian naming list, which is Kirrily. Some forecast models are calling for Jasper's remnants to become a cyclone itself. However, it's looking kind of a 50-50 chance at this time. It's very likely another cyclone will form in the next 10 days up in this part of the Australian region. However, we're probably not going to see it renamed as Jasper. This will probably be Tropical Cyclone Kirrily, but you can see as it moves into the Coral Sea and absolutely races down, it's really got a destination in mind into Monday, which is Christmas Day. You can see it really picks up some intensity, and it looks like it's making this sort of east-southeasterly trajectory. So it's not going to be a land threat for Christmas. It's definitely a Category 1 or Category 2 strength cyclone at this time, so it's a strong system, but it's not going to be affecting land areas, and I think the rainfall is going to be mostly offshore with just these showers associated with the cyclone's banding features moving inland. But over the next 10 days, we can be expecting more rainfall for the Cairns and surrounds up to 500, 600, 700 millimetres over the Cape York Peninsula, and in saturated areas such as Port Douglas, a further 400 millimetres can be expected from this tropical cyclone. Widespread totals above 200 millimetres are expected as well, which will extend north up to Thursday Island. So really significant rainfall totals are expected as a result of this cyclone making its passage into the Gulf of Carpentaria. We'll take a brief look at the Access G3 model as well, considering it is our favourite model on this channel. You can see winds from this cyclone on Christmas. We're going to be seeing this cyclone approach Darwin, probably as a category, what looks to be about a Category 2 strength cyclone. Winds about that 50-knot threshold in the centre of circulation. This is not a reliable forecast. I've never seen a feature such as this band on a wind model forecast. This is what you'd expect on a satellite imagery. So again, not really a reliable forecast, but the cyclone does head towards Darwin area, and if you extrapolate this, you'll probably be seeing a landfall on the 27th. So it's not going to be a Tracy repeat. I must emphasise that. It will be a Category 1 worst case scenario if it is to impact Darwin around Christmas time, and it's not even likely at this stage either. Most major forecast models are calling for this cyclone to exist in the Coral Sea. The GFS actually had a brutal scenario where a Category 5 strength on the Saffir-Simpson scale, so a cyclone with winds of 140 knots. That's comparable to Cyclone Yasi, made landfall on the Queensland coastline. Thankfully, that scenario has been cancelled because that would have been very ugly indeed. Not a high chance of that happening. Now let's take a look at rainfall forecasts and thunderstorm forecasts for southeast Queensland and into New South Wales, because it looks like they get an absolute drenching on sort of Friday and into next weekend just before Christmas, but it does look like it clears up around Christmas time, and you can see significant thunderstorms around the central coalfields and that sort of region in Queensland and in northern New South Wales. They extend quite widespread actually into Friday night and into Saturday night as well, and and some of these are likely to be severe as well. And as we enter into Christmas Eve, you'll likely be seeing these thunderstorms extend further east over Moree, and they'll extend over towards Coffs Harbour and over towards Brisbane as well. And yeah, once again, these thunderstorms could very well be severe. They could pack a lot of rainfall, some very damaging conditions, damaging winds, and large hailstones as well. And it looks like the preliminary Christmas forecast calls for a pretty wet day for locations between Brisbane down to about Newcastle. However, overall, it should be pretty fine and sunny, especially down in Victoria. Tasmania should be fine and sunny, and then up towards the north in Queensland, it should also be fine conditions. Maybe a couple of showers extending north of Cairns. Northern Territory as well, looking pretty nice for Christmas Day. Only a couple of thunderstorms firing in the sort of Katherine region, and they might extend a little bit further south to around Tennant Creek. Northern Western Australia looking pretty good as well, and the southern parts of Western Australia around Perth also looking quite nice for Christmas. So widespread, pleasant, fine conditions for Christmas. The only rainfall to speak of looks to be central Queensland and around Coffs Harbour, that sort of region, and those could be severe thunderstorms. So that's a bit of a concern, and it looks like they extend a little bit further north up towards Brisbane, Gympie, Bundaberg, that sort of region throughout Christmas. Now, the temperature forecast is one thing for Christmas Day. Extreme heat expected, up to 50 degrees Celsius for locations around Panawonsia, Karratha, Port Hedland and Marble Bar on Christmas Day. Temperatures really hot indeed, and they extend across the Gascoyne region and into the Pilbara region of Western Australia, and even up into the Kimberley region as well, and they'll extend across into the Northern Territory. Overall, temperatures for Perth, a pleasant top of around 25 degrees Celsius. This is long range, so it is subject to change. Inland will be a little bit hotter, approaching 40 degrees. South Australia looking hot as well, up to 30 degrees in Adelaide, and then 40 degrees in remote central communities. And then across into Queensland as well, it'll be cool conditions down towards Brisbane, 25 to 28 degrees Celsius there. Same with Sydney, only 20 degrees Celsius as a maximum down there. Melbourne looking fine, 25 degrees Celsius, and Hobart a pretty average 18 degrees Celsius. So widespread sunny and pleasant conditions across Australia, maybe one or two cool spots and one or two very wet spots across Christmas Day. But right now it's looking like a pretty good Christmas forecast. Now, as it is 10 days out, this is subject to change, and we'll be bringing you the latest on the Christmas weather scenario across the Force 13 Australia network. So make sure you are subscribed and leave a like on the video while you're at it. Now, if you do have any specific questions in mind that you'd like to direct towards me or our producers, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be trying to get to all of them. Thank you so much for the recent support on the channel. It's been great to see. And yeah, that's about all from us, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.
Thank you for watching our content this update. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to get more updates covering all things weather and geophysics impacting Australia and the Oceania region. Subscribe to our other channels for more content from across the network, and be sure to check out our website where you can find free access to floater and radar imagery and articles on everything weather and much more. If you wish to support us directly, you can purchase some of our merchandise. We have a wide variety of clothing and homeware, or you could become an Ultimate Fan, which is the best way to directly support us, granting you some sweet perks and offers, including features in our custom storm animations, live streams, and much more.